What's up, guys? George back again to do another quick video. I just found out, and I know I'm probably a couple days late, a day or two late, that Jamie Lee Curtis is back on board in the Halloween series for the upcoming sequel that's coming out, I think October 19th, 2018, which is kind of a surprise to me. I'm very happy that she's doing it. Apparently it's going to be a continuation of the original part 2, which, okay, you know, at this point you could do anything with that franchise, I believe. Now, out of all the horror series, that's probably my favorite series. Except for one movie out of that whole entire series, which was Resurrection. I thought that was just a piece of shit, really. That one was just a Scream, a version of Scream with Michael Myers in it. I mean, really, that's all it was. It was just your average 90s, late 90s slasher shit, you know. It was just a pile of shit in it. It was just a pile of shit. That's how I feel about that movie. I love 1 and 2. Obviously the original part 3 is a total different story, so I don't really count that as obviously part of the series. So when I heard that Jamie Lee was going to come back to do essentially what would be part 3, or a return, I guess totally doing away with the whole H2O movie, and picking up, I guess, where Halloween 2 left off, obviously, years later. I know it's being written by David Gordon Green, who did Pineapple Express, I think, and Danny McBride, who I happen to love. I love Danny McBride. When I first heard that they were writing it along with John Carpenter, I didn't know how I felt about it, because I know Danny McBride's a comedy writer, but I know he's reading other things about him. He's a horror fan as well. If you don't know who Danny McBride is, he was in the latest Aliens movie. He was also in various films over the last 10 years, like Tropic Thunder. He was great in that. What's the one where all the cast was in, the End of the World film? I forget the name of it. Or is that the name of it? But that was funny. I keep saying it World's End, but that's the Simon Pegg film. So when I heard he was writing it, I was kind of like, uh-oh. It's going to be a comedy? I'm sure with his wit and his humor, there'll be some nice one-liners in it, but I have a feeling he's going to do an okay job with writing it. From what I understand, they're doing as much as they can to have Myers look or be represented like he was in the first 2 films with the William Shatner mask and all that, and so that's good news, I guess. And obviously John Carpenter's, I think, directing it. Because what had happened was there was supposed to be a film this year on Dimension Films, but they lost the rights to the Halloween franchise. And I know John Carpenter, I know he's executive producing the new film, but I don't know if he's going to be any more a part of that film or not. I have no idea. I know he said that he's met with David and Danny, and he seems on board with those 2 writing it. He said they pretty much get it. They know what to do with it. I don't know. I can't wait. I wish it was here already. It's not for another year. from the filming of this video. It's October 19th, I think, 2018. But I'm really happy that Jamie Lee Curtis is going to come back and reprise her role as Laurie Strode. I think that's a smart move at this point. I don't know how they're going to... I guess they're just going to ignore the other sequels. My favorite sequel is Part 6. I thought Part 6 was a dark, heavy film. 4 and 5 were kind of that 80s slasher thing, but Part 6 had that dark vibe to it, I thought. And if you haven't seen the producer's cut yet, that's a nice companion to the original Part 6. There's some different kills in it. It's a nice movie. I'm trying to think. H2O was okay. That was like another Scream film to me, though. The way it was shot and the way Michael was shot in that film. His mask was terrible in that film, I thought. As it was for 4 and 5. It was too white or something. I don't know. There was something off with it. But H2O, it was way off for some reason. There was even I always kid with my buddies when we're watching it or something together. There's this one scene that him and Josh Hartnett and the Michael Myers character are kind of like wrestling around outside, and I think he punches Myers or something, and Myers goes down. And when he whips around, I swear to God, it looks like the mask has an expression on it, like a pissed off expression. And I always said, like, how the fuck did the mask change? But it just, if you see that part and know what I'm talking about, I don't know if anybody else caught it, but there's a part outside, Josh Hartnett and Michael Myers are wrestling or fighting, or he punches him. Myers goes down on one knee, I think, and then whips his head around to look because they take off running. And just that expression on that mask's face cracks me up, because it's like, the mask doesn't change expressions. And then, like I said, Resurrection was just a turd. I didn't like that movie at all. You have Tyra Banks in there, who, she was okay in that film. But you have Busta Rhymes, who, I'm sorry, man, he just can't act. He was terrible in that film. And then obviously the Rob Zombie Halloweens, who some people love, some people absolutely hate them. I worship them. I think they're great. I think they're a great addition to that franchise. It's his imagination of it, or his imaging of it, whatever you want to call it. His retelling. I like the director's cuts better on both of those films than the actual theatrical cut. It's hard to say. I hated the Halloween 2's ending in the theaters. I saw it in the theaters and I thought it was total ass. It was just bad. She comes out of the, spoiler alert, she comes out of the little shack in the middle of the woods or middle of the field with the Michael Myers mask on. And he disappears, I think. But I definitely dug the theatrical, or the director's cut ending way better. It worked so much better. And it made him more of a brutal kind of no bullshit serial killer. I know later on in some of the sequels, they had that whole Thorn side story, which at the time when I saw it didn't bother me. That kind of does now. I don't know why. And like Part 6 has a lot to do with that storyline, and I think that's probably the only downfall of that film, really. But overall, I think that film was a really good film. I think it was Paul Rudd's first film. The comedian, the actor comedian now, who's been in like Anchorman and The Ant, or Ant-Man, or whatever it's called. He was great in that film. But anyway, like I said, I'm happy Jamie Lee's back. That makes me want to see this film even more. I hope it's not like a conclusion, I guess you could call it, like the final film. I hope not. But I guess it all depends on how it does at the box office, really. They could film it as like the last film, and then it does amazing at the box office, and you know damn well there's going to be a sequel. They got to cash in on it. But looks like Friday the 13th is has stalled right now. I haven't heard any news about it. But yeah, Halloween, like I said, it's been delayed a couple times over the last couple years. It looks like it's finally being picked up by a new movie company, and they are going to start shooting, I think, this October. From what I read, they want the feel of autumn outside for the outside shots, which is great, because I don't know if you noticed. I'm sure a lot of people do, and I didn't notice this when I was young, but if you watch the first Halloween, there's leaves all over the ground, but when they do the pan, the town shots or down the street, all the trees are green, all the leaves are green. But yeah, it says, and I've read the press release that it says that Jamie Lee Curtis, Laurie Strode, is coming for a final confrontation with Michael Myers. So either it's going to be the last film, or it's going to be her last film as Laurie Strode, which I thought H2O was. I know she came back at the very beginning of Resurrection, which I thought was the best part of that film, was that first 10 minutes. They kind of made her look like she did in the early films with the long hair, and then, she gets stabbed, I think, and then falls off the building. But, man, so cool, that scene. And I thought maybe they were going to continue from that point, because you don't know if she lived or died. She could have got stabbed, fell, and got away, but I don't know. I'm very excited for it. I hope they do it right. I hope it's dark. I hope it's a classic Halloween film like the first two, and even like the Rob Zombie films were dark as shit and brutal. I mean, those two films, whether you love them or hate them, you gotta admit they were brutal films as far as the killings and the violence, and not so much the gore. I guess there was a little bit, but like I said, I love the Rob Zombie films. Most of my friends do. I think I have one or two buddies that don't care for them, but they don't hate them. They're just like whatever. They're cool to watch, but I don't. But I watch them every year. I watch both of them. And now with Halloween season coming up, I'll be watching them again soon. I always watch 1 and 2, the original 1 and 2. And then 4 and 5 are usually on TV. But I definitely watch 6. Every now and then I'll pop on H2O and start watching it, and then get kind of bored with it. Resurrection, I don't even think I own anymore. But yeah, so Jamie Lee is back. Laurie Strode is back. She's going to come back and kick some ass. She looks great. There's already a promo shot out there, which will be my thumbnail if you see the beginning of this video. So yeah, I'm really excited. So let me know what you think below. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about her being back. I think it's cool as shit. And also, on a total different thing, I was thinking about doing a video about the Jeepers Creepers 3 premiere and all that bullshit that went on with that, which I may do at some point. For one, I know the director was kind of a sick fuck, but I got to research it more because I don't want to say anything wrong, but he did his time, I guess. I don't know. Did he go to jail? Let me know. I have no idea, but I don't know why people didn't boycott the first two. The first two Jeepers Creepers. But this one, they're all over. I don't know if it's a whole snowflake thing or... I mean, what he did was sick, don't get me wrong. He's a fucking pig, but... that doesn't deter me from wanting to see the new Jeepers Creepers. I don't know. It's like he's a sick fuck, but he's not in the movie. But anyway, I don't want to get on a whole nother tangent. Anyway, like I said, let me know what you think. I really look forward to the new Halloween film. I think Danny McBride's going to knock it out of the park as far as writing goes. And that's it, man. I'll have some new reviews coming up real soon. I got a few things, some older films in the mail. I got some new stuff coming, some new release stuff coming for me to review, and I'll see you next time. Follow me on Facebook and Twitter. Click that thumbs up button if you like this video, or if you hate it, click the thumbs down button, and follow me, subscribe if you haven't. And I want to again thank all my new subscribers for popping on. I appreciate it. And all my old subscribers, thanks for sticking around. Peace.